Namaste and welcome to a new episode of Konnakol 2020. I am Carlitos from Slovenia and this is what I have prepared for you today. So that was something else. This is the first on this series in which I showed you something, a pattern directly on the instrument. That was mrdangam, that is slightly down there. You can't see it now, but you will later on. So this was Theermanam, the classic composition that has one phrase that you repeat 3 times. Repeat. So this was a Theermanam, that is the classic, most standard type of composition that takes one phrase and repeats it 3 times. And this is probably the most simple ever Theermanam in Carnatic music, because it takes only 16 beats and you start it, if you are talking about Aditalam Chaturashranadai, at the 5th beat. Because, Chaturashranadai, Aditalam, 32 beats. This is 16 long, so you just wait for half a cycle. So how we will put this in Konnakol? Very simple. It is taka dimi taka juno, taka dimi taka juno, taka juno dim, taka juno dim, taka juno dim. So half a cycle of Aditalam and then this Theermanam. That in terms of structure, it has one of the simplest, which is 4, 2 gap, 4, 2 gap, 4. We play the 4 as taka junu. We then, the phrase for the 2 gap is a simple dim. And that's it, really. Those are the 2 phrases. And why am I showing you this Theermanam? It's because this is one of those compositions or phrases that you can find both in Carnatic music, that means this tradition, and the Hindustani tradition, which is the tradition of the music of North India. And I found it really interesting to show you the similarities and differences between them. I mean, this is a tihai, they call it in northern India, that you hear it all the time. It's tirikitatam, tirikitata, tirikitata. You hear that all the time. But here in South India, in South India, we do it as takajunu dim, takajunu dim, takajunu, and then dim. So, but what's interesting, what really struck me when I learned this composition first, was that we can actually have fun with it in a way that we cannot do that in Hindustani music. And what I mean by having fun, that we can take these building blocks that makes this Theermanam and shuffle them around in a way to make it sound more exciting. Because in this way that I'm going to show you now, that I play as the second time in the mrdangam earlier on, you can see that the phrases are getting shorter. That builds up the excitement when you actually then find yourself in the first beat and resolve into the first beat of the next cycle of Aditalam. So in terms of structure, this new variation of the same Theermanam that I gave you earlier goes as follows. First, you keep the phrase for 4, and then you keep the phrase for the 2 gaps. So takajunu dim, just like we did before. But then we don't do a phrase for 4 again. We do a phrase for 3, takita, and then 2 gap dim. So it's takita dim. And then we do a phrase for 2. You see, we are reducing the phrase from 4 to 3 and from 3 to 2. The phrase for 2 will be taka. And then another 2 gap, so it becomes takadim. And then we add a phrase for 1. And the phrase for 1 is simply ta. So as you can see, we started with the phrase for 4, 2 gap, 3, 2 gap, 2, 2 gap, 1. And then, of course, since this is the end of the cycle, you're going to start with, again, another cycle of Aditalam with taka dimi taka juno, and then we'll give the illusion that you play another hymn. So this is, I think, something very different, because this is something you would never do in Hindustani music. But you can do it without really much of a problem, and it's heard all the time in Carnatic music. So I thought it was an interesting, tidbit, an interesting differences between the two traditions that sometimes are confused or sometimes are thought to be very similar. In fact, they are not. And now to finish, I'm going to play these two Theermanams on the mridangam and recite them as well. So we start with half a cycle of Aditalam, and then we go, because that's how it goes. This is a Theermanam that goes over half a cycle. So taka di mi taka junu, taka di mi taka junu, taka junu tim, taka junu tim, taka junu, taka di mi taka junu, taka di mi taka junu, taka junu dim, takita dim, taka dim, ta dim. So that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching the video. As always, you are welcome to leave your comments, questions, doubts, or corrections, perhaps, using the comment box below, either on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you see this. As always, you are welcome to subscribe to my channel on YouTube or to like my Facebook page if you so desire. And that's all from me today. I have been Carlitos from Slovenia, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.